Welcome to another edition of the Mo Show Live, everybody. Hey, it's Morris Lilienthal. I'm really excited about today's topic and today's guest. The heart of any city or town is the downtown area. And if any of you that live in North Alabama or have traveled through North Alabama in the last couple of years have happened to stop and spend a few minutes in downtown Athens, you're going to find a quintessential, charming Southern town with a lot going on. And that's what we're going to be talking about today with our guest, Tere Richardson. She is the executive director of Athens Main Street. And Tere has served in that role since June of 2018. And prior to that, she worked in computer information systems consulting, was an educator, and has served and participated in many local boards and nonprofits. Tere, thank you so much to join us today and talk a little bit about all the great things that are going on in Athens.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, Morris. I love to talk about Athens. It's what is my passion, to help people come to our city and just really experience all we have to offer.
Well, I'm excited. And as someone who lives in Limestone County and frequents Athens a lot, I'm excited to share all the great things that are going on down there. And I think people who may not have experienced that would be surprised when they listen to today's show and then they come out and experience all the great things that are going on in Athens. Folks, if you're watching the show live and you have questions for Tere about Athens Main Street or things that are going on, retail or restaurants or events, those kinds of things, put them in the comments and chats. We'll try to get to it. If you're watching the show, like a lot of folks catch the show on a replay, put it in there even so, and we'll try to get to it and answer any questions, put a comment or a link back to answer your question later on. Tere, I think it might be for folks that may not have been to downtown Athens or folks that live in the neighboring communities around Athens. Tell us that may not realize how much Athens has grown and how much Limestone County has grown. Talk to us a little bit, just a minute, about the demographics of Athens and Limestone County so people can get some perspective on what we're talking about when we start talking about everything that's going on downtown.
We have absolutely grown exponentially in the past 10 years. Even if you go back far enough to like 1970, when the malls became the thing to do, our downtown almost died out, like many small downtowns. And our longtime board member used to like to say, I'd come out of my office on the square and I could throw a rock and not hit a car on a Friday night at 5 o'clock. Now you can't get a parking space at 5 o'clock on a Friday night.
That's true. I can attest to that.
That's music to my ears. We can thank our attorneys and our CPAs and our professionals for saving our buildings during that period. They stayed downtown, they invested, and those buildings now house some of the greatest restaurants you can find in North Alabama. It houses some of the greatest boutiques and gift shops, and it's just a wonderful place to come and walk around and experience our downtown. Like you were saying, it is a charming small town America setting.
Absolutely, it really is. And what's great is that while the city has grown and the downtown area has grown, Tere, it hasn't lost its charm. That when you walk around, you still got that main core of the kind of a historic courthouse that's recently been renovated that gives you that kind of Andy Griffith theme, feel to it, and small town America feel to it. But you have a lot of the charm there, but you also have a lot of great shops and a lot of great restaurants and things that we're going to talk about in just a minute. Tell our viewers a little bit about the history of Athens Main Street and kind of how it got started and kind of what your mission is and kind of what you guys try to do to promote economic growth and foot traffic and retail and so forth and so on in Athens.
Sure. We are a part of Main Street America and Main Street Alabama. But prior to that, we actually started as Spirit of Athens in 2006. And this was before Main Street Alabama had been founded in Alabama. So the people that put that organization together were really forward thinking. It was some city people, City of Athens folks, and some merchants. They got together, visited a Main Street America city and decided that that's the format and that's the mission that most aligned with what they wanted to do in downtown Athens. So when Main Street, Alabama became chartered, we were grandfathered in because we had been doing this since 2006. And we embraced the 4 points of the Main Street model, which is its design, which is placemaking. We talked earlier about we've created from a blighted alley in downtown Athens, we renovated that and made it a alley full of art based on music. And we have, every Friday night, we will have a musician there that'll play. It's Friday night happy hour in Merchants Alley, and you need to come down and experience that. It's a lot of fun. And then we just finished in the design area an $800,000 renovation of our farmers market. And that was something that we fundraised for with Main Street, and we did in conjunction with a public partnership with the Limestone County Commission, and the city of Athens also helped on that. And a lot of individuals donated. It was a really great project for our city. We now have an area where we can have different kinds of community events. So that's the design component of what we do. The other thing that really helped our downtown, I believe, is about 10 years ago, we suggested a streetscape project, which will improve walkability by narrowing the streets downtown. It slowed the traffic. It replaced the street lights with historic lampposts, which made walkability better. It also made it ADA compliant. We put in power boxes for festivals so we can have food trucks downtown. So those are things in the design component that we've done in the last 10 years. Outdoor dining, when COVID hit, we saw really quickly that we needed to increase our business's footprints by providing spaces outside. And, you know, as a longtime Southerner, who would have thought we would have people that wanted to sit out in July and August outside in North Alabama? But it really took off, and now any restaurant that comes to downtown really wants to be able to provide that outdoor dining component.
Absolutely.
We also,
Yeah.
go ahead.
No, so absolutely. And I've noticed that a lot of the restaurants downtown there have a lot of outdoor seating areas for folks and do. And at least especially certainly this time of the year right now, it's very pleasant and do when it's not raining like it's been constantly lately. But it's very pleasant. And I think one of the things that being so forward thinking and having the streetscape project as the city has grown and the community has grown, it's allowed you to make the downtown area more vibrant and more walkable and livable to provide easier access for foot traffic, and it make it easier for retail and restaurants for people to come downtown. Because if it's going to be difficult for people to get downtown to shop and eat, they're just not going to come.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And
And
so I feel like y'all have done a great job with that.
thank you. And slowing that traffic down, you know, North Jefferson Street was looked at as a state highway, but it's really not. And slowing this all around the square has been vital to making it a place where people do want to come. They want to bring their dogs and their children, and you know they want to stroll around. And now they can, and they feel safe doing it.
Yeah. What have been some of the other challenges that you've had with all the growth in the last few years? What are some of the other things that you guys have had to address, and then been able to take those challenges and turn them into success stories to attract more events and attract more shops and restaurants downtown?
Well, I will tell you that we've had some great success in terms of the restaurants. When you're the fastest growing county in the state and fastest growing city in the state, people want to be here and provide services in that environment. There are only so many historic buildings to go around. So making sure that we can fit the right people with the right buildings, has been a challenge. And I feel like a lot of the restaurants have hit the nail on the head with what they offer. We have very few duplicates of the restaurants that we provide. That's been a great thing. The one thing that our city lacks for such a fast-growing city, and we have taken this on as a goal, is downtown living.
Yes.
Most other places that are our size, which is 30,000 people, in a downtown that provides the number of shops and restaurants that we do, you will have 2, 3, 4,000 people living downtown. We have, in my district, we have 0 people living downtown. So that's the next thing that we really want to have happen downtown.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. And we've seen that here in the Huntsville community and other communities to do. There's a lot of downtown living, and in Madison and doing, they're starting to get that down there as well. And that it certainly does seem like a natural fit for something to be coming forward for Athens and do. But the other thing though is so great is that it's so walkable, and you have a lot of people that don't maybe not live right downtown, but are just off in some of the historic home districts. And that's, if you go downtown Athens, that's one of the great things is you talked about the architecture of how a lot of these retail and restaurants have really maintained the fabric of what those buildings were. And so you don't feel like you're in some new modern age thing. You still have the character there, kind of like here in my office. We're in a very old building here in my office, and we have the brick walls. And so to go into some of these restaurants and to see the it's modern, it's nice, and they're new in terms of it's clean and crisp, but they keep a lot of the historical aspects of the building inside and out. And so it's really cool when you go in to shop or eat there that you still got those aesthetics there.
Mhm.
Talk a little bit about the variety that there is a lot. You kind of mentioned that, you touched on that, but there's a really a lot of variety for a town, to some respects as small as Athens is. And I told you before we went live that we have found ourselves over the last couple of years living in East Limestone, coming to Athens to eat at night more than we do the other communities close to us, because there's just a great variety, and the parking's easy, and it's easy to get around and do. Talk a little bit about the variety of the shops and restaurants that we have down there, just to highlight a few or highlight some of the types that we've got, so our viewers can get a feel for that.
Sure. One of my favorite topics is our restaurants. We have had 7 restaurants, upscale, independent restaurants open in the previous 24 months, which is huge for a downtown our size. We've got some really, like you say, really neat varieties. I love salty cod. The owners of Salty Cod own Poppy and Parliament in downtown Huntsville. They came here, they opened Salty Cod Pub, and then they've got the Courtshire Butcher, which they have a wonderful butcher shop. We have opened a gelato shop, which is there in that whole area. And I think it's a wonderful addition to downtown Athens. I love fish and chips. That's my favorite. They have great Irish dishes and all kinds of, they have a nice bar selection. So I highly recommend Salty Cod. Coming on up just a block, you've got the Southern Table, which is right next door to me. And this restaurant was a restaurant in Pulaski, and he moved down to Athens, and it is a lovely Southern gourmet kind of atmosphere, just really interesting dishes. And they both do brunch. Then one of your favorites, I know, Morris, is Rose Grill, excuse me, just
Yeah.
down the street. Again, I'm going half a block down when I'm talking about these restaurants. And Rose Grill is great, family portions and really good food. Then just down the block, you've got Village Pizza, which has been a staple in Athens for many years. And it's just some of the best pizza you will put in your mouth. Then just one block over from that, you have Studio 16 Cigar Lounge. And if you're going to come to Athens, you need to go to Studio 16 and pregame. Go there. It's an elegant, elegant place. They make great cocktails, and the smoking area is all separate with glassed in, so you can be separate from the cigar smoking. It's a really cool environment. You need to do that. Then you go on around, you got Wildwood Deli, and I argue it's the best deli in the state, bar none. It's just a great deli. Then you've got Athens Ale House, which has kind of grown. They're in a new building. They used to be the bar, the place where everybody knew your name. They still do that, but it's in a bigger place now. They still know your name, but they have a nice restaurant. They have a great new chef. Next door to them is Limestone Legends, which is a beautiful billiard place. They also have food and a bar. Then you go on down. One of your favorites, I know too, is Old Black Bear, and we love having Old Black Bear in Athens. And you have to see the renovation. It was two old warehouses, and they have actually won a Main Street Alabama award for the renovation of that warehouse. It was Amble Studios Architecture here in Athens that did it. And one side is all of their brewing operation, and the other side is the restaurant. And it is very lovely. You should see that. Then you've got Irons and Ales. Have you been to Irons and Ales yet?
I have not, but I've heard great things from several friends that have been there.
Speaking of a great renovation, that it was the old Sunbeam Bread warehouse, and it is fantastic inside, lovely. And they have a pub menu, and you can go. I think they have 4 simulators, and you can play 80 different golf courses on these state-of-the-art golf simulators. They do darts. They've got some great dart leagues and foosball, and just a lot of good family fun you can have there. Oh, let's see what else. We've got Finn's Grill, which is a great seafood option in downtown. And one of my very favorites too. They're all my favorite, but one of my very favorites is, of course, the Church Street restaurant family from Huntsville that do Mazzeras and Purveyor, that group. Stephanie and Matt Mel, they do Little Mazzeras off the square, and
it's fantastic. I've been there. It's delicious.
Mm-hmm. Delicious, really great white tablecloth Italian. Gosh, I'm probably leaving out one of my restaurants, and they'll text me. But we just have a great.
Well, I say, but what's so amazing is to think of a town the size of Athens, and that you just talked about basically making a block, walking into the square in that general vicinity, an easy walk. That folks, you have all those options there. And I've eaten at most of those places, or I know good friends of mine that have eaten at the others, and there's not a bad one in the bunch. And it's a large variety, and it's easy to get in and out of, and the money, you're not going to find any better restaurants in North Alabama to eat at either. Talk a minute about one other thing that y'all have done in downtown Athens that has allowed to bring more foot traffic, is having an entertainment district. Talk about what that is if people aren't familiar with that, and how that helps some of the businesses to attract customers in the evening hours.
The 2020 and 2021 years of COVID was of course, a tough time for all of us. And one of the goals was to come out of that without losing our any of our restaurants, any of our shops. And we made a concerted effort on the behalf of the restaurants to increase their footprint with the outdoor dining. But then also what came in then, we lobbied the city council and said, this is the time to do an entertainment district.
Mhm.
Because at that time, people did not want to go into a restaurant and sit shoulder to shoulder with somebody, to have a cocktail and to eat. So they wanted to sit outside, they wanted to walk around, they wanted to sit on the courthouse lawn. And it was something that the city council, in their wisdom, said, you're exactly right. This is something we need to do. And, I can't say enough about our city and our county governments. They work well together, and they truly do have the best for Athens at their heart. They really want to grow in a thoughtful way, and
Right.
are progressive about what they're doing. But that entertainment district, it was a paradigm shift for us. After that, all the restaurants started coming in, and they were very, very interested. And that was the first question they'd ask is, do you have an entertainment district? And I was like, yes, we do. So that was great.
And for
The
folks
other
out
thing,
there, Terry, what that means is that people can then purchase a beverage at an adult beverage at a local restaurant, and then if they put it in an approved cup, then they maybe can walk downtown to another restaurant or walk out and sit in some of the city center somewhere and enjoy and talk and do, and there's no issues with that, right? Is that generally what that means?
exactly. And the other thing, the second thing it did for us, especially Athens Main Street, and then for our shops that don't sell, alcoholic beverages or anything, what it did is it allowed us to have all kinds of festivals and events where we have a Fridays After 5 is just an example. And it grew from the first year I was Main Street director, we had about 200 people that would come and sit and listen to music in the street. I think last year we estimated 4,000 people at one of our Fridays After 5. So, and that has to do with being inclusive in your music, making sure that you speak to all of your community, and then also the entertainment district people. They love, of course, the food trucks. So that really did make a difference. And then that brings foot traffic into our shops that stay open for these events. So
Right.
it was a win-win for the entire community.
Well, and that kind of dovetails perfect in where I wanted to talk about here as we get closer to wrapping up, and that is talk a little bit about some of the events that you've got going on that are maybe regular events that maybe you've already had some earlier this year, and some of the things coming up this summer and this fall, so folks can now we've got them hungry talking about all the great things to eat and do. Let's talk a little bit about some of the events that are going on and how we can get folks to come check out more about the retail and some of these events that y'all are having routinely and regularly in downtown Athens.
Sure. The main mission behind any event that Athens Main Street does is to ring the cash registers. Ring the cash registers for our small businesses. They're our most important people downtown, because they build our downtown and they are the heart of our downtown. So all of sorry, you can probably hear
That's
the
okay.
ambulance. They are the heart, and we want to do the things we do. Events are for their benefit, to get foot traffic into their businesses. So starting in February, we have a chocolate walk that we can sell 350 tickets to, and they sell out in a minute online. And it's a very desirable ticket to have. So that's really fun. And we actually bring people in from Birmingham and Atlanta and Nashville. 60% of our foot traffic that day will be from outside of Limestone
Awesome.
County and Madison County. Then we do a boutique crawl. because we've got over 20 boutiques in the downtown area. So we'll do a boutique crawl in March. Then we roll into April and we do our Fridays after 5, April, May, June, and July. We also, as at Athens Main Street, we do the Athens Farmers Market. So we do a Tuesday market from 3 to 6 and a Saturday market from 8 until noon. And we have sold out under the pavilion for the last couple of years for our Saturday markets. And then we've had to put people in tents outside. So it's a really good farmers market. We also have music. And that's one thing I really wanted to touch on. We've become kind of synonymous with a place you can go and listen and hear good music. Our farmers market, we have musicians at that every Saturday. Merchants Alley, every Friday night, we have a musician in Merchants Alley, and that's free to the public. That's something that Athens Main Street provides. So, you know, you can come 5:30 to 7, kick your weekend off, and then go eat somewhere downtown. And then the Fridays after 5, we'll have a DJ and a band. And then we have several other businesses that do live music in their establishments. So we really want people to come and enjoy the music. We roll into the fall and we do, of course, the Merchants Alley in the fall. And there are other organizations that do great events outside of just Athens Main Street downtown. So you need to look into that too. We also do a summer sipping event where we have our participating merchants will create a summer drink of some kind, and our patrons walk around and they can taste and then vote for their favorite summer drinks, and the winner gets a trophy. Now we do that same thing in December, and it's called Sippin' Cider, and we have a ton of people that really love to come to Sippin' Cider. We have over 30 businesses that will participate in that. Then we partner with the chamber and put on a Christmas open house. We have a ice skating rink in downtown, and then we have choruses and bands, and we have a merry market with different vendors that set up there. And we also do that at the farmers market. So there's basically something going on every month.
Yeah. Well, and I would tell you that folks since I have really been venturing out over the last several years, coming downtown and doing that, there is always something going on and doing, and it's accessible, easy, affordable, and it's a good time, and it's great to support our local businesses, support our local musicians. And what you might find out is you might find that there's somebody playing music that you might discover that has a really talent that you might not have heard about before. And Terry, I would say that probably the best place is right here. Go to y'all's website, and I know y'all have very active social media pages. That if you go to the AthensMainStreet.org, there, folks, they have links, easy, quick links over to all their social. And Terry, I would say if people will follow you guys on all the major social media platforms, they can easily stay on top of upcoming events and new happenings.
Please volunteer. I'm the only staff member at Athens Main Street, so we have to do this with an army of volunteers. So come help.
Well, that was as I wanted to end up to do, is that a lot of what y'all are doing is based upon memberships and sponsorships from businesses and individuals and volunteers. Talk to us just a minute about how, if somebody wants to get involved to help, or if there's a local business or an individual that wants to participate either financially or whatnot, tell everybody real quick how they can do that and how y'all can put them to work.
Sure, I'd be glad to. Our website has a donate here and a get involved here, and you can find out all those things on the website. We have businesses that are our stakeholders. We have right now we're approaching 25 stakeholders that are the backbone of our donors. We really need that, that participation. Then we have business investors, and then we have individual investors. So all of that really, really helps. And all the sponsorships for these events, those events can't be put on without people like TOC that does Fridays After 5, Dream Key, which does our farmers market, and a lot of our other events. We have so many great partners, business partners that help us put on these events, and that's the only way we can do it.
Yeah. Well, Terry, I want to thank you for all you and all the businesses and volunteers and everybody in Athens and things in the surrounding community are doing to develop and revitalize and turn Athens into, just like I said at the start of the show, just a really southern, charming town that is just a treasure to have. And it is, like I said, it's so interesting because the dynamic is such that you have all these great historic buildings, historic homes, but then you have kind of this vibrant area for dining and shopping, all interspaced into this really cool, eclectic old southern town. And it's just an amazing venue. And folks, I encourage you that if you live in the local community like a lot of us do, and you don't often go see the things that are right under your nose, go explore and check it out. And if you're watching from afar in Nashville, Birmingham, or anywhere else where sometimes people are catching the show, if you're coming through just right off the interstate off 65, stop right there and then I think you're going to find a place that you're going to be really surprised and really fall in love with. Terry, thank you for your time today. I'm excited to see all the other great things that are going to be coming to downtown Athens, and I'm looking forward to coming to eat downtown soon.
Super. Thanks for having me.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.